Welcome back to the channel. My name's Tom, and today I'm taking a look at Springfield Mall in Springfield, Pennsylvania. While this mall could definitely use an update, it does appear to be doing fairly well and was without question one of the busier malls that I visited during this trip. So now come along with me and tell me what you think. And don't forget, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell. I've got a lot more mall videos coming up, as well as store walkthroughs, flea market videos, and who knows what else. And if you really want to help support the channel, please check out my Patreon, which is also called Flea Bitten Adventures. Thanks. Alright, so this mall opened in 1974. It was developed and originally owned by Springfield Associates. The mall was sold to its current owners, Priet and Simon Property Group, in 2005. Priet and Simon both own 50% of the mall, but the mall is managed on a day-to-day basis by Priet. The original anchor stores were John Wanamaker's and Bamberger's, and the Wanamaker's was straight ahead where this Target is today. Wanamaker's closed in 1995. It became Hecht's later in 1995, and then Strawbridge's in 1997. The Strawbridge's closed in 2006, and then the building was sold to Target in 2008. They demolished the building that same year, and it was replaced by the current Target in 2009. From what I've read, it seems that this mall has been generally successful throughout the years, especially during the early years, of course. Now, while one of the current owners of the mall, Priet, did file for bankruptcy in 2020 and again in 2023, the mall doesn't appear to have been too negatively affected by that, at least as far as I can tell. But of course, if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. So yeah, as I'm looking around this mall, there are very few vacancies, especially compared to some of the other malls I visited on this trip. And like I said, there's a decent number of people in here. You know, it's by no means crowded like it might have been back in the 70s and 80s, but it's not bad. There really wasn't anything I saw at this mall that made me think it was dead or even dying. I mean, again, it looks to be doing very well. The only thing about it, though, is it definitely needs a refresh. I mean, I don't know when it was last refurbished, but it looks like it probably was at least 20 years ago. That's my guess. To me, it looks very much like a late 90s, early 2000s mall. And also, for those of you wondering, this was filmed on a Tuesday between about 1:45 and like 2:15 p.m. So, you know, I wouldn't think this would be the busiest time for this mall, but again, it's got a decent number of customers. Now, does anybody out there know, this store on the left here, did this used to be a Disney store? I did read that the mall had a Disney store at one point. Not sure where it was though, but if I had to guess, I would say that was it. Another positive in my book for this mall is that it still has trees, bushes, and an operational, or at least partially operational, water fountain. It's not the most spectacular fountain I've ever seen, but hey, it's still here. The only problem is the fountain on the other side of the elevator has no water in it. Alright, so now let's take a quick ride in the elevator and get a better look at the fountain. And down we go again. One thing I did think that was a little strange here was they have what looks like Christmas lights on this elevator, but this was filmed in the middle of May, so I'm not sure why they still have those up. When this mall first opened, it had multiple fountains, pools, and even a tropical garden. And I'm kind of wondering if this used to be one of the pools or part of a fountain right here. Could have been. One of those original fountains actually featured a stainless steel sculpture by artist Remo Saraceni. I'm not exactly sure where it was located in the mall, but I would assume it was either at Center Court, where the fountain is today, or in front of one of the two anchor stores. But again, if anybody knows where that was exactly, please let me know in the comments. Here's one of the relatively few vacant storefronts, and I'm not sure what used to be in there. Now there are, as you can see, there are vacant storefronts here, but not a lot. Alright, so while I do prefer to talk about this mall's positive aspects and how well it appears to be doing, I do have to mention what this mall may, sadly, be most famous for. If you're from the area or you're into true crime, you probably know what I'm talking about. In 1985, this mall became the site of a mass shooting. A 25-year-old woman with an extensive history of psychiatric issues, Sylvia Segrist, went on a rampage. She killed 3 people, one of them a child, and wounded 7 others. Luckily, though, a bystander was able to take her weapon before she could do any more damage. She was ultimately found guilty but insane and given 3 life sentences. And as far as I know, she's still alive today and still in prison. Now, there was another shooting that happened at this mall just back in 2018. Wasn't nearly as serious, nobody got shot, but apparently 2 groups of people got into an argument inside the mall, and then it somehow made its way out into the parking lot. There was gunfire, and I think maybe some cars might have been hit, but again, luckily no people got hit. So you might be asking, well, is this mall dangerous? I would say when I was here, there wasn't anything that made me feel unsafe. However, you have to remember it is about 10 miles from Philadelphia, which has one of the highest crime rates in the entire country. So based on that, I mean, it has a potential to be dangerous, I suppose, not unlike the Brass Mill Center Mall in Waterbury, Connecticut, that I've visited a few times, and there have been a few shootings there as well. But luckily, every time I've gone to a mall, nothing like that has happened. And straight ahead, where the Macy's is today, this is where the original anchor store Bamberger's was located from 1974 until it became the Macy's in 1986. Can anybody tell me what this used to be on the left here? I'm guessing it was either a 99 restaurant or a Ruby Tuesdays. Or another restaurant very similar to that. On the left here is a Route 21, and I'm really surprised to see these because I remember they went out of business, I think, in 2023. Apparently last year they got a new owner and some of the stores did reopen. But yeah, I remember it was a big thing in the, in the mall community that Route 21 was going out of business. So it's nice to see a store come back. Of course, I'd much prefer it if that store coming back was Sears, Kmart, Bradley, Caldor, Zehrs, something like that, but hey, it's something. If you look at the fountain on the right side of the elevator, there's no water in it. So I'm not sure if it's been like that for a while or if that's just something that was temporarily broken. It is kind of weird to see only one side of the fountain operational. And no mall would be complete without an Auntie Anne's and a Cinnabon. I did finally try Auntie Anne's. Still haven't tried a Cinnabon yet. So maybe next mall I go to, I'll try a Cinnabon. Maybe. I'm not a big fan of seafood, but I have to say the theming of that restaurant is on point. Love the giant lobster. As I mentioned, where the Target is today, that used to be Wanamaker's. And here in this photo, you can see that staircase and where the Wanamaker's sign used to be to the left. And then straight down there, there used to be a fountain with a giant eagle statue. And apparently the eagle still exists. It's not here, but it's in another location. And also I thought it was kind of amusing, that guy trying to get the balloon off the ceiling using a pole. So that's the interior of the mall, but don't go anywhere yet. As normal, we're going to do a drive around the mall next and see what it looks like from the outside. And again, please let me know in the comments what you think about this mall. I stand by my assertion that this mall is doing just fine. It doesn't appear to be dead. It doesn't even appear to be dying. But if I'm wrong, let me know. Now, first of all, can anybody tell me what this thing here is in the parking lot? You can't go through it now. It's got a rope up, and it seems to go to more parking, but what is that? It's very unusual. Never seen anything like that. Here's the Target building, and this is new construction as of 2008, 2009. Before that, that's where the Wanamaker's was located, which then became Hex, and then Strawbridge's, and then finally that was demolished and replaced by this. I would say, in my opinion, the most dated part of this mall is probably the exterior. To me, this looks very much like it's straight out of the 70s or 80s. It may have been updated slightly. I think the entrances actually did get updated at one point. Not sure exactly when, But other than that, it looks very similar to the way it did back on opening day. At least based on the photos I could find of it back in the 70s. And then here's the Macy's, which was originally Bamberger's up until 1986. And for whatever reason, I can almost never find any photos of the old Bambergers online. They just almost don't seem to exist. This is the main entrance. Here's a photo of that same entrance taken back in 1994, and as you can see, it looked much different back then. I'm not sure when it was updated, but again, I'm guessing it was probably sometime in the late 90s to early 2000s, most likely. Or possibly around the time that the Target was built in 2008, 2009. Those are just guesses, though. And there you have it. That is the Springfield Mall in Springfield, Pennsylvania. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell. I've got a lot more mall videos coming up. And again, if you want to really help support the channel, please check out my Patreon, which is also called Flea Bitten Adventures. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.